Treasure tier list.
Yeah, let's do a treasure tier list.
There's like so many treasures.
There's a lot of
I
treasures.
didn't actually realize there was this many. All right, let's start with just like the one on the top left. Amalgamate. Where would you put Amalgamate?
Maybe, no, I think you might have had the right idea, actually. Maybe you said like top 5 or something, right? Amalgamate? I mean, that's somewhere in the dumpster.
That's
that
D.
garbage? Yeah.
You said there. Ancient Reflections. That is some. I've seen people get wins with it.
It's actually really cool. The coolest thing I've seen with it is Knife Juggler Ancient Reflections. And then it does, I think, it does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage, right? The first one shoots 6, then, yeah. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 is 10, 5, 6. So it's 21 damage with Knife Jugglers.
All right, so what is this, an S tier then? Because it also works with Roz. It counters people's Wax Ragers, but it is like super conditional. You need one of those minions that work with it, right?
One of the coolest things it does is with the Spellburst Shaman minion. You just get like all the Ancient Reflections.
That is pretty hype.
Yeah,
it is super cool.
You have infinity value, but it's not necessarily infinity tempo, and Hearthstone's about tempo, not value. But it's cool.
Archmage Staff. I see Trump use this all the time.
I love
There's
it.
like, I think 2 or 3 Trump videos that are like 30 spells, the value.
Yeah, he loves value. No, Archmage Staff is good. I rate that one highly. I've got that in A tier.
You got that in A tier. This is as good as Ancient Reflections. Is there any other? Wait, what's the combos you're looking for that? Nothing really. It's just general value, right?
I've got like 2 in S tier, which are Pharaoh's Blade and Wax Rager. I think those 2 are a cut above the rest.
Okay.
And then after that is A tier, which is like good stuff. Kind of depends on what I'm building.
Right.
I haven't really thought this all the way through, but there's a lot of garbage that I'm not that into to sort through B, C, and D.
I don't know. I figure we just rank them all so that we have them.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about Bag of Coins? That's the next one on the list for me. Bag of Coins, I would put it in B probably.
Yeah, B
or
sounds
C.
good. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. The coolest thing I did with Bag of Coins is I had goggles, and so with goggles, your Bag of Coins lets you like control the goggles better. Like you have a big thing stuck on the left, and the Bag of Coins fixes it and pop off.
Cleans your goggles. I dig
Cleans your goggles with a Bag of Coins. You wouldn't think that would work, but it does.
And then Bag of Stuffing is probably what? Card draw usually becomes something you kind of want in a lot of classes. I don't know if it's good enough to put it in A.
I was putting it more like in D or C.
Really? You don't like the card draw?
I like card draw. I just don't want my treasure to be card draw.
The card draw, right.
I usually build my decks to where I have pretty full hands a lot of times.
Right. So you're saying the way that you build your deck, you never use the Bag of Stuff. I've taken it a few times, and I think I was like warrior or something, and I didn't want to like do battle rages, or I was trying to get away from weapons because I feel like if you start taking weapons cards, that's all it gives you. So I hate cutting class as a card draw engine sometimes.
Oh god, I love cutting class. But yeah, for me, I value card draw very highly, so I have a bunch of card draw in my deck. So the Bag of Stuffing is not what I want. It's like, oh, my hand is already 6 cards. Why am I paying?
Well, I'll trust you. I'll put it in C though. I'm not gonna put it in D.
Yeah. C sounds reasonable. That's where I put it.
All right. What about Banana Split? Banana Split has tons of cool combos and can do sorts of wanky stuff, and is just a ridiculous amount of tempo if you can just land it on anything that you played on turn 4.
Yeah, I think it's B tier.
Not as good as Ancient Reflections, huh?
I don't know. Ancient Reflections might be in B tier as well, actually. Yeah.
But Ancient Reflections is the OTK stuff with the Knife Juggler.
Yeah, but it's not a standalone good card. I think A tier is standalone. So S is like broken game winning on its own. A is like really strong standalone good. B is like good card, but like you probably need to do something.
I'll add these titles to the thing.
Yeah. This is coming together. This is starting to make sense.
But needs support. Good, but needs support. Okay. So Ancient Reflections goes down to B. Banana Split goes up. Bag of Coins is in good, but needs support right now for me. Maybe you just move it down to C as in not great. I don't know.
Really?
What's the support?
You think it's below Ancient Reflections and Banana Split? I can see that.
Yeah.
You want to put it next to that Bag of Stuffing? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's more accurate.
Yeah, I don't pick it much. It's true. I don't pick it much.
What about Beastly Beauty? That one's pretty good. The 2/8 or
God, I
the
hate
2/5.
that thing. I hate that so much. It makes me very.
Makes it 8/8, 5 mana 8/8.
Sure. Well, I'll put it in tier C, right?
Right. Yeah, that's where I got
it's
it.
a conditional
Keldular, D.
I
mean, unless
D.
you get the full thing, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's not bait people.
But you probably shouldn't be picking Blade of Quel'Dalar, right?
Don't pick that. I have picked it once, but I was very upset at the other options. I was angry.
All right, next up we have Blade of the Burning Sun. That's the weapon that gives things in your... The Battlecry give everything in your deck +2 attack.
That's like high B, low A. It's pretty good on its
You
own.
want like Leroy and stuff with it, or any sort of charge minion. If you have one charge minion in your deck, you can loop this sword a few times, and the charge minion gets ginormous and then just kills them.
Yeah, it's also good with Gnomish Army Knife. There's your charge minion.
Ooh, that's a sick combo.
Yeah,
I like that. Next we have the Blood Moon. Where do you think you put the Blood Moon?
D.
D.
You can put it in C if you want.
Yeah, probably.
It's pretty bad. 3 mana for 1/1 and lifesteal is like. Let me just stick a giant board and play an overpriced Power of the Wild. How much lifesteal do you need in your token deck? I don't play token decks, but if I did, I wouldn't want lifesteal.
Yeah, exactly. If you have the board, you're not taking damage, so what's this doing?
It's kind of a Shaman card, but Shaman got pretty nerfed. They have half as many totems now, so...
Shaman got murdered, not just nerfed.
Yeah. I'm going to take this Bigglesworth out, because it's literally not in the game anymore. Have you ever seen Chaos Theory before? This is a new one to me.
Chaos Theory? No, I've never seen Chaos Theory. What does that say?
Both players cast all spells in their hand, targets chosen randomly. Let's just put that right in the D tier.
It's awesome, though. It's such a meme.
Oh, that's an awesome piece of garbage. Right in that D tier. I'm done. I forgot about it already.
All right. What about Book of the Dead? Deal 7, costs 14 mana, but costs 1 less for each minion that's died this game.
I've got that in A tier, and I want to bring up that
I think
last time I played with it, it only works for friendly minions that died, so it's not consistent with the text. It doesn't discount on enemy minions. It only discounts on friendly minions.
Wow.
I also want to bring up, I believe Double Time's the best passive by a pretty good margin. And like, if you want to get 12 wins...
I couldn't find a tier list maker for the passives.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why that doesn't exist, but I guess we'll have to do this again later or I have to make a tier list for that and get all the images myself.
I'm just saying, like, if I want to get 12 wins, I want to get Double Time, so Book of the Dead's moving up with that in mind.
Okay.
I do like 14ing my opponent.
Yeah. What about Bubba? How you feel about the big dog?
So, an important thing about the big dog that's not obvious when you read it is that those Bloodhounds have Rush. So I put him in B tier. I think he's pretty good. But if your Bloodhounds, like, let's say the first 3 Bloodhounds kill the thing, you got 3 other Bloodhounds with Rush that can attack something else. So like against
really?
Shaman. Yeah, you played against Shaman, you kill a Manatide and a Flame Tongue.
Wow, why doesn't it say with Rush then?
I don't know. Apparently you're just supposed to know.
2 cards in a row that the text is messed up.
You're just supposed to know that Bloodhounds have Rush. They're obviously very fast. I got him in B tier.
All right, next we have Butch, the other dog.
Right down in the D tier. No, don't read him. He's stupid.
Don't even read him. He's just bad.
That's a bad Butch. Nobody likes you.
All right. The recently nerfed Canopic Jars. They cost 5 mana now instead of 4 mana because I guess there was some synergy where you could get the legendaries out super quickly. I don't remember what someone said, but I read it in Reddit somewhere that there was something that could get legendaries out really fast.
Druid treasure.
Use Canopic Jars on like 1-drops and then
Gibberling.
They trigger instantly.
Yeah, you go like Gibberling, Innervate, Bloom, Canopic Jars. I don't know. I didn't see this Reddit thing. I didn't understand why Canopic Jars got nerfed. Oh, is it because of that passive that's like your Death Rattles proc? I don't know.
I think it worked with your Death Rattles proc instantly.
Oh,
so
really?
I think if you have your Death Rattles proc instantly and you played Canopic Jars, you just get legendaries.
Oh, that shouldn't work that way. Yeah, I mean, I like never played the card because I read it and I was like, all right, this is good if I like stick a board, which is kind of tricky if I'm not playing exactly a Death Rattle deck.
Mm-hmm.
And even with exactly a Death Rattle, they still kill your board a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty mediocre. Especially now that it's nerfed, I think it's C. Previous nerf maybe B, but like...
Sure, I've got it
even then, you were pushing it.
Yeah, I've got it in C.
All right. Clockwork Assistant has +1/+1 for each spell you've cast this game.
B or C.
Yeah, you need to be playing a spell deck. You're playing a spell deck. It's fine. You kind of slot it in.
Yeah.
Coin Pouch, summon a 3-cost minion. Upgrade this. Shuffle it into your deck. It only shuffles into your deck twice. So you can't go infinite in Fatigue with it. Because the third form, I think, is a 6-drop and a 3-drop, but doesn't shuffle it into your deck.
Well, I just want to mention that I couldn't possibly care any less about Fatigue. Fatigue is a thing in Game 1, at which point you have no treasures, and it is never a thing after that, because people die. There's all these treasures out there killing people, and if your treasure helps in Fatigue, that means you died to their treasure before your treasure did anything.
Yeah.
So I think all these...
Fatigue gamer, though. I love it.
Oh, I love Fatigue, too, but you can't do that in Duels. It's Game 1 only.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a huge deal in Game 1. I think Game 1 in Duels is like super interesting. I love those games, but yeah, the Fatigue stuff is complete nonsense.
I've never seen this one before. The Creepy Curio. Summon 3/1/1 ghosts, upgrade this, and shuffle it into your deck.
I've seen it. I put it in D tier. It's another shuffle card. I don't care about those.
He hates shuffling.
Shuffling sucks.
All right, I love this next card. Krusty the Crustacean. He's one of my favorites.
Oh,
He's just good, right?
Yeah, it grabs
Easy
everything.
A.
Easy A?
Yeah.
I had it more like B. You think it's easy A?
I think it's definite A.
Right.
You don't need support for Krusty. You can jam him in anything, and he's amazing. He's a huge tempo swing. He kills a guy and develops stats. Literally is just pure tempo.
He's no Hyper Blaster, though. We can agree on that.
Okay, yeah. It's no Hyper Blaster is probably just S.
We can move that up to S.
I don't know. Hyper Blaster's nuts.
Hyper Blaster's real nice. Yeah, sure.
All right. Death Charger is the definition of garbage, right?
Yeah, it's pretty D.
1 mana, 2/3, Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to yourself.
Well, it has charge, so the charge is better than the Death Rattle. So it's like a 1 mana 2/3 with slight upside. So it's a good card, but it's not a treasure. Honestly, I think it's a lot of better. I think it's better than all these other D treasures I'm looking at. It's like I would play Death Chargers in my deck. I just don't want to invest a treasure in it.
Next up, we have a Dream Grove Ring. Discover a legendary minion, summon 5 copies of it. So this card can be a strong finisher for decks that don't have a finisher, I guess.
Yeah, it's really expensive. So it's like top of D, bottom of C.
Yeah, something like that, sure.
I'll put it bottom of C.
9 is just so much.
Yeah, games are over.
All right, I've never seen this one either. Embers of Ragnaros. 10 mana, shoot 3 fireballs at random enemies that deal 8 damage each. So you just get 3 rag shots. So if it's an empty board, that 24. Is 24.
I've never seen. I saw this like before Duels came out in like
double time would be lit with this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like A or B. It's probably A.
I don't know. It's nowhere near as good as Book of the Dead.
Okay, you want to put it in B?
Yeah, I think it's B or maybe even C because 10 mana is a boatload of mana,
10
dude.
mana. That's true.
Like Book of Dead costs 0 mana eventually. This costs 10 all the time.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I might even put it in C.
Sure, we'll put it in C. I'm happy with that. I've never seen it. I haven't seen Wish. There's quite a few of these that I'm just like, huh? That exists?
Yeah. All right, next up we have Enraged. Give your hero +6 attack this turn. I get offered this one all the time.
Yeah, it's good when you have double time. It's good when you have Pharaoh's Blade. Also, Pharaoh's Blade is good when you have Pharaoh's Blade. So, or Phaeorus' Blade. But yeah, Enraged is like C, right?
Yeah, it's probably C.
It's not great.
Like towards the top end of C, though. It's like a reasonable C.
Sure.
Gatling Gunner. This card kind of blows. Whenever you play a card, deal damage equal to its cost to a random enemy minion. That's a D.
Yeah, it's a high D.
High D. Gentleman's Top Hat. I've taken this one before, and I've seen people take it before. Yeah. It's not great, but it's a 1 mana +2/+2 with some more upside. Maybe C?
Yeah, sure. Low C.
Low C. Yeah. Low C, high D. Gnomish Army Knife. We talked about earlier, it's got that synergy with Blade of the Burning Sun, but other than that...
Well, hold on. I've got a really cool one. If you Scepter of Summoning, so your big minions cost 5 with Alexstrasza, right. Then you can play Alexstrasza Army Knife and then OTK people.
That is pretty spicy.
They're at 40 life, dead. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Scepter of Summoning Alexstrasza. So we got some Alexstrasza synergy. It synergizes with Blade of the Burning Sun. It needs support. So this is a classic B then, right? If you get the support for it, this thing pops off.
I'd give it more of a C. I don't like combos. I like good cards. This is not that much of a good card. Like, I'd much rather have Banana Split than Army Knife in general.
That's true. All right, Golden Kobold. This is in F tier for fun, maybe?
Well, the trick to Golden Kobold is to have the duplicate legendary passive, because then it's really nice. Yeah, so Golden Kobold, you get... If you have the duplicate legendaries, you get 2 6/6 taunts for 3 mana, which is already insane, and then it turns your hands into all legendaries, which all get duplicated, which are then... You know, like, legendaries are bad cards, but when you duplicate them, suddenly they're good cards. Really changes things. So yeah,
it has the passive, it pumps off.
Yeah, it's I'd say it's low C. But if you have duplicate legendaries, then it's S tier.
So C is like you need like a specific passive to make them work, kind of. Most of them.
C's like kind of weak, or like you need something specific. D's like, please don't make me.
All right, Greedy Pickaxe. It's like the 4 mana 2/2 after your hero attacks, gain an empty mana crystal.
Call that a D.
Wild growth on a stick. You want your treasures to be high impact, not utility, right? Most of the time.
Yeah, this thing's got to be played on curve, and it's not that strong. It's not a treasure.
Right.
It's D.
All right. Grimmer Patron. At the end of your turn, summon a copy of this. This is a 3/3 that makes 3/3s.
I have it in A. Yeah, it's a 3 mana 6/6 that wins the game if they don't kill it. So
yeah, that's
really
just good.
That's really good. I like that with double time. With double time, you go turn 1 coin It double times Grimmer Patron, and now they have 2 mana to kill 2/3/3s, or else things get worse.
And they're just dead.
Yeah.
Holy Book. So 8 mana, kill a guy and silence it, and you get a 10/10 copy of it. D for that, really? That one's a lot of swing.
All right, fine.
It's like a crab, but worse, right?
It's 8 mana.
Yeah, that's true. That too.
One thing I learned about Duels is people are really good at dealing with minions, but burn damage tends to be like what wins a lot of games. Like good decks do a lot of burn damage and a lot of healing, and bad decks rely on minions, and it doesn't work. So Holy Book is very expensive, and it is all about minions. Sounds bad.
All right. All right, next we have Hunter's Insight. Reduce the cost of all cards in your hand by 1.
That's good. That's like A.
You think that's A?
You think it's B?
You need card draw, otherwise this is real bad.
Yeah, I love card draw.
Yeah, but you still need it.
All right, B. Sure. You're right.
There's no way that's an A.
Sure.
Hyper Blaster S. That card's insane.
Yeah, we put it up there already.
Yeah, that's a murdery one. Jaws, that's a D.
It works on opponents' minions, but yeah, it's it's C. No, it's like if you're a Death Rattle deck, it's very good. If you're Death Rattle Hunter, like very good.
Okay.
Enemy Death Rattle minions dying counts too. So like,
right,
you can put it in your deck, and sometimes you can do a Death Rattle deck, and it solos them. Like, I've done that. It was bad 3 games in a row, but then the next game it dealt 40 damage. So
okay. So you need to basically have be a Death Rattle deck.
Somebody's got to make a lot of minions with Death Rattle.
Locusts. Love this card.
Yeah, that's A.
That's an A.
That's a good
yeah,
A.
That card slaps.
Yeah, that's a good A.
Looming Present. Draw 2 cards. Gain 4 armor. Presence, not present. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a nice Arcane Intellect, which is like C tier.
You put it at C,
Where'd
not
you
D.
put it? Nah, I wouldn't put
I
it
don't
at
know.
D.
I'm thinking it's D because it just doesn't do enough impact for a treasure slot.
I mean, I consistently want it in my deck, which is more than I would say of a lot of these Ds.
Okay, that's fair. I just hate how little impact it has.
Yeah.
It's just a nice little utility card that helps out a little bit here and there, but doesn't actually carry, you know? All right, next we have Loyal Henchman. Gain +1/+1 each turn it's in your hand, and it starts in your hand.
Yeah, that one's really good. That's I would say it's got to be A, like pretty high A. Because the starts in your hand thing, you can mulligan into it and be minus a card like Patches. But if it starts in your deck, then you draw it and you're +1 card. So it's like, 2 mana 5/5 taunt or whatever, and draw a card.
Okay, next we have the Loyal Sidekick. Has +1/+1 for each opponent you've defeated this run.
I like that one a lot too, but that's because I win a lot. It might be more of a B or a C.
It's like a worse version of the last guy, right? Slightly.
A lot worse. You don't draw a card. It costs more mana. You have to win games instead of just be alive for turns. So this is like
so B tier.
Low B.
I agree with that. Mask of Mimicry. Choose a minions in your hand to become copies of it.
Wait, what did we do with the Hilt of Keldular?
I put that next to the Blade of Keldular.
I think it's a lot better. It's 1 mana +3/+3 is pretty good.
Okay. You want to put that in C?
That's at least C. It's definitely better than this
picked it before
Presence.
and been pretty happy with it. In the earlier stages of the run, 1 mana +3/+3 can be really good.
Yeah.
And synergizes with some of the other treasures and things like
Double time. Anything that's a spell is just better than it looks because the passives are so good for spells. Like Double Time is the #1 passive, and there's a bunch of spell discounts as well.
Okay. All right, where do we put this Mask of Mimicry? That's probably D.
Yeah, I never played that, so probably D.
I've taken it before, but that was like my deck had like a lot of wins, and didn't have a lot of value, so I wanted to just be able to outvalue priests and stuff in the later stages.
Okay.
They keep up kind of thing. And that was like my only way to be able to kind of do it.
Okay.
But yeah. I never like pick that and I'm like, yes, Mask of Mimicry. It's always like, oh god, Mask of Mimicry. I guess I can make this work, you know?
You're down 2 mana and a card from the start, so it's like really
it's got a lot of ground to cover.
Doesn't sound like a treasure to me.
But you can synergize with other treasures.
It's just starting off at plot twist level, so.
Dude, there's no Wax Rager on this list, is there?
I put it in S tier already.
I don't even have it on my page, I don't think, unless I'm blind. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see it. I am blind. All right, Mind Apocalypse. Both players draw 2 cards and gain a mana crystal.
Oh, I hear only you get the mana crystal and not the other player.
Nope, that is not how that works. You baited me into that in a tournament, man.
Sorry, buddy. That's my bad.
Yeah, so that's a D, right?
That's a D.
Mr. Bigglesworth, that's a D. Not even in the
It's
game
not even
anymore.
in the game, yeah. I got 12 wins with that, though.
Yeah, I saw it. That was sick, dude. Good
Yeah.
YouTube video.
Nice.
Check out Zalae's YouTube channel if you haven't.
There you go. Thanks, buddy. All right, Murloc Holmes.
Yeah. Murloc Holmes, whenever your opponent draws a card, add a copy to your hand. I have picked this before, and it did not work very well for me. I had a lot of cards that made my opponent draw cards. I had like a Cold Light Oracle rogue deck.
Yeah, exactly. I want to point out that he's a Murloc. Last time I picked him was yesterday. I was upset about picking him, but I put him on my deck, and then I was playing Hunter, and the next bucket was like, here are 3 Murlocs for your Hunter deck.
Oh, God. Does it really do that?
It really did that to me. I actually took the Murloc bucket. There was a Finja in there, and I had Rush. So it was like,
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So if you want if you're a class with good Murloc class cards, maybe you pick him.
Nah, try not to pick Murloc. He's like low C. Like, you can play him, but he's...
Oh, you put him in the C, huh?
Oh, you want to put him in the D? I'm good with that.
I was going to put him in the D.
I don't know if I'd... Yeah, he's a D-er.
Maybe we'll put him high D. I'm still putting him behind Holy Book, though. Holy Book's a good D.
Where's Holy Book?
Mutating Injection. Give a minion +4/+4 and taunt for 3 mana, and it's a spell.
I've picked it quite a few times. It's never been good, but I mean, you double time it and you win. I've definitely won games with it. It's a threat. It's like a bad hilt of Keldular. So
see?
Yeah.
Next we have Necrotic Poison, 2 mana, destroy a minion. Pretty underwhelming for a treasure, but decently powerful utility effect.
Yeah. CD range, what do you think?
More C probably than B.
Yeah. Oh, you have CB range. Okay. I had CD range. I think it's not a D. It's a C. It's a pretty good C, actually.
Old Militia Horn. Give your minions +1/+1 and taunt. Upgrade this and shuffle it into your deck. Yeah, you hate shuffling.
I shuffle those right into tier D.
After you play a card this turn, replay it. Targets chosen randomly. This card says on the card that it's overpowered. Instant S tier?
After you play a card... I've never read this before. Hold on. After you play a card this turn, replay it. Targets chosen randomly. What? How much does this cost? 3?
30 mana, and then you have to play something powerful, I guess. So this synergizes with other treasure spells, maybe?
So it's like the duplicate passive, but instead of...
It costs you a card and 3 mana.
And it works once, or like one turn, where you're down 3 mana. Yeah. So we can D-tier this, then.
This is super D, yeah. All right, the recently nerfed Party Portal.
That's a baffling nerf to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess turn 1 Party Portal was pulling some wins really hard.
Sure.
There's no counterplay to that.
I'm okay with that.
I don't know.
Okay.
I put it at like B, maybe. Still pretty good, right? Or you think due to the nerf, it's really bad now?
Nah, we'll put it at B. I have no idea how good that card is. It was against my religion.
It was B before the nerf, because, I don't know, you could just run away with a game in the early game.
Why are they nerfing B tier stuff? There's S tier stuff.
I don't know.
It makes no sense. I kind of want to put this.
Oh, the overpowered card gets to replay minions, too, not just spells.
Sure, but
it's any card.
It's 3 mana.
It's still D, right?
Yeah, you have to...
2 7-drops is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, and that's not until like turn 10. Usually you're going to have to use this for like 2 4-drops or 5-drops, or you're going to get out tempoed. I put Party Portal probably at like C or B. Yeah. I don't know how likely it is to get. I guess it never really was super likely to stick anyway, except on turn 1. And an 04 is going to stick on turn 1 anyway. So it should still stick turn 1, and then in the later stages, you can slot it in with your spells and get some effect out of it. So it's pretty good still.
Yeah, it's probably B. I could see it.
Phaeorus Blade, that goes straight into the S tier.
Oh,
Insane card.
Win the game.
We got Princess. Battlecry, gain death rattles of 3 random minions in your deck. That's C.
I don't know if I'd play it in my death rattle decks.
You wouldn't play the death rattle card in your death rattle
I'd probably
deck?
play it in my death rattle decks, but it just feels like such a D to me. Like, it's like Jaws... You can play it in a non-death rattle deck, and it's okay. And when you play it in a death rattle deck, it's actually good. Princess is not actually good in a death rattle deck. It's okay. And it's actually unplayable in a non-death rattle deck.
That's fair. That's a good argument to put it in D. I like that. We have next Pure Cold, which it says 6 mana on this tier list, but has recently been updated to cost 5 mana.
Ooh.
So 5 mana, deal 8 to your opponent's face, and freeze them. You said you liked burn damage. How do you feel about Pure Cold?
I mean, as far as treasures go, it's pretty bad. Like maybe low C, high D.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like mana cost was not the thing why people didn't pick that card.
Well, if you put it at 2 mana, I'll pick it, but...
Okay, yeah, I guess that's fair.
Are we putting that in C or D?
I threw that one in C.
Sure.
I mean, burn damage is just good in the later stages of the run, so like maybe. And
Yeah.
it works with double time, so I don't know. I
Beat
could
those
see
demon
it.
hunters.
All right, next up, Puzzle Box. Transform all minions into random ones that cost 3 or more. I've picked this probably more than I should pick it.
Yeah, it's kind of like Canopic Jars, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing as Canopic Jars, which we put in C.
I want to put this
another
in
C.
D. I really hate these cards.
You want to put it in D?
Yeah, I do.
We want to move Canopic Jars to D? Canopic Jars is better, you're saying?
Hey, really, that doesn't make much sense, does it? Maybe I should put Puzzle Box in C. Maybe I'm not nice to this Puzzle Box. I just look at it and I get mad. I don't play either of those cards ever, right? Like, my decks are a bunch of spells, and I don't know what these cards are.
The Puzzle Box also transforms your opponent's minions, so you need to be able to run over their minions, value trade, and then evolve. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So it does have a stronger conditional than Canopic Jars, which if your opponent has minions, you could just play Canopic Jars and then trade into their minions. So it does make sense to put this at a worse rating than
No, but it costs 2 less mana. That's a huge conditional, too.
Then it does cost 2 less mana.
And then how strong is like Legendary versus +3 mana? I can't tell.
Legendary is probably better than +3 mana. The evolves are pretty shady. I've had taken Puzzle Box a lot.
Okay.
I don't know, I still think I'd put it in C. It's better than a lot of these things at D. You can definitely win a game with it with the tokeny style deck for sure.
Sure.
All right. Next up, we have Royal Gift. Give a minion +2/+2 for each minion you control.
And give that to the D tier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. It's like a worse Bloodlust a lot of the time, or worse Savage Roar a lot of the time. I mean, the stats persist, so you could like do stuff with it again. But realistically, you're gonna jam it, then they're gonna remove your minions, so the stats won't persist very well. Firebat Overpowered is broken because you can do crazy stuff with Melee or Savage Roar. Cards, not just spells. Yeah, we know it's cards, not just spells, but it seems like too much of an investment most of the time. 3 mana to get 1 double time style effect. So that's why we put it there.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at Royal Gift, I'm like, it's so hard for me to stick a minion, let alone a bunch of minions to really capitalize on this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to play a bunch of minions. I want to burn people out. That's what wins.
All right, next we have Sow the Seeds. Give all minions in your deck +1/+1.
Reminds me of Kaliseth, so we'd probably give it a C. You want to put it in B?
I think a C's fine on that one.
Yeah.
I'd say you're not too unhappy to get it, but you're definitely not happy with it, and you're not going to try and build your deck necessarily around it. Next up, we have Spyglass. Put a copy of a random card in your opponent's hand into yours. Random card from your opponent's hand into yours. It costs 3 less. Now.
Yeah, they buffed this to 1 mana, so it's a lot better.
1 mana now, okay.
Yeah, 1 mana, and you get a 3 mana discount. So I'd say it's C tier.
Yeah, it's C tier because it doesn't do enough impact on the game state. It's just getting you 1 little value card that may or may not even be good. So who knows if it's actually going to be too helpful for you. You want your treasures to be winning you the game, not doing little utility things.
Yeah, it's trying to cheat 2 mana. But if you have double time, it's really good. So.
All right, next we have Staff of Scales. Summon 3 1/1 snakes with Rush, Poisonous, and Reborn for 5 mana. This one's been kind of good.
Yeah, that's like classic A, almost S.
Yeah, you just pick that one and it just goes in there and gets the job done.
It does it real good.
Yeah. Next we have Supercharged. Give your minions +2 health for 0 mana. It's pretty low impact.
It's pretty high tempo. And like as far as buffs go, it's pretty good, but it's no banana split. It's probably C tier.
C tier? I would almost attempt to put that in D, honestly.
0 mana. 0 mana is really affordable. Like, buffs are so much better when they're 0 mana.
I guess, like, it's good in Druid. Like, I can definitely see you playing this in Druid and I guess Shaman, because it can fit with all the, like, Totem Shaman stuff, maybe.
I think it's better than Druid some stuff we have in C tier.
You think it's better than what?
I think it's better than some stuff we have in C tier. Like, Jaws, Mutating Injection, Pure Cold. I could see it being better than Puzzle. It's got to be better than Puzzle Box, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not super fond of that card. I'll put it in C, though, just for you, because you let me put Puzzle Box in C.
Yeah, I've literally never played Supercharged. I'm just 0 mana buff. I'm interested.
Next, we have Surly Mob. Destroy a minion, or destroy a random enemy minion. Upgrade this and shuffle it into your deck. So it's a deadly shot, which then gets better. I forget, what's the second form of this?
2 deadly shots.
2 deadly shots?
Yeah.
And then the third form's 3 deadly shots?
I don't know. Who cares? Does not matter.
You're not picking it.
Nope.
Yeah. The Executioner. Silence any minion attacked by this weapon.
Pretty good weapon. Tier Z. Better than Jaws.
Yeah, probably.
Better than Dreamgrove Ring. It's like relatively high in C, I would say.
Next we have Vampiric Fangs. Destroy a minion. Restore its health to your hero. I'd give that a classic C.
Sure. Yeah.
Just doesn't do enough.
It's like that 2-mana card that destroys a minion, but costs 1
Yeah.
more and heals you. It's a little
Yeah.
better, probably.
Wand of Disintegration. That's an A. Or an S?
No, that's A, not S.
Yeah, okay. I think that's fair. Wax Ranger, that's an S.
Yeah,
Wins the game by
an S.
itself.
Yeah.
Wish, I've never actually gotten this, but it seems pretty cool. They've recently changed it to be 10 mana down from 11 mana. Fill your board with legendary minions and fully heal your hero. That's a lot of healing.
Could be, yeah. 10 mana is way better than 11, too.
Yeah, much easier. You don't need a treasure to go or a passive to go alongside it to be able to play it now. You can just play it.
Could that make it in B tier?
This could almost make it in A tier.
Yeah.
I think this is a really strong card.
I don't know
I'm tempted to put it in A.
You want to put it in A. It's 10
Yeah.
mana.
If you make it a 10 mana, you could just win if they don't have an AoE clear.
I mean, that's stuff on board plus burn damage. That's kind of a lot, you're saying?
Yeah, they have to have enough on board and burn damage to do like 40 damage. So pretty much every time on turn 10, unless you've been getting absolutely blasted the whole game, you should be able to play this, and your legendary minions, I'm sure 1 out of the 7 will do something to influence the board, but your opponent's likely not going to have 40 damage from board plus hand.
All right, I'll put it in B tier.
It's definitely a B or an A in my book.
Okay.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
Worshipper. This card's been all right. I've been pleasantly surprised by this. The 3 mana, what is it, a 2/4, I think? Your hero has +3 attack on your turn.
Yeah, it's like high C, low B.
Yeah, that's what I'd put it to. Okay, and that's all of them.
Nailed it. Should we talk about, did we miss any like really cool interactions, stuff to talk about? Spells with double time, but not Wand of Disintegration.
Yeah. So we need to, for the video for YouTube, we just have to analyze why we put the tiers named as what they were, talk about that for like 2 seconds, and then if you have any cool synergies to bring up, those are always a hit, right?
Mm-hmm. So S tier is like cards that kind of win the game by themselves. So Pharaoh's Blade, right. You play it, you kill all of your enemy minions, and then you kill your opponent with it. It's really nice. It does everything. Wax Ranger does the exact same thing. Kills all their minions and then them. And Hyper Blaster, it doesn't kill the opponent unless they're at 4. but it does kill all their minions. You know, you play it turn 3 and then you have like 3 turns of doing whatever you want while your opponent skips turns. Because it's just their turn trades with Hyper Blaster.
You don't even take face damage because you're immune as well, so it's insane. It just 4-for-1s them without you taking any damage, so it gets you so far ahead in the value game.
It's proactive, right? It's like there's nothing on board. Oh, I play my Hyper Blaster, and now I get to Overgrowth next turn. You can't do anything to pressure me.
Yeah, it's so nutty. And then A category is for cards that are standalone good. You don't really need a passive to make them work. There are passives that do make these cards even better. You know, specifically Double Time with Book of the Dead and things like that. But they are just good on their own. And if you get like Blade of the Sun, we talked about earlier, you could pick up the Gnomish Army Knife with Blade of the Burning Sun to turn any minion in your deck that happens to get a lot of Blade of the Burning Sun buffs into a Wind Fury Charger and kill your opponent with it.
Yeah, it's just a weapon that keeps going forever. That'll kill your opponent if they don't kill you. So B tier are good cards. These are cards you want in your deck. They'll win you some games, but they often need some kind of help or support, or they're in some way kind of situational. So like Banana Split's really powerful, especially if you double time it, because then you're banana splitting a banana splitted minion. You're copying and multiplying even bigger things. Or a really cool synergy from B tier would be Ancient Reflections does all the sweetest things. Perhaps the most interesting would be the Shaman Spellburst minion, I think Diligent Note Taker, and you just get infinite value, which is not the same as Tempo. There can be issues there. But the sweetest way I think I ever killed somebody actually with Ancient Reflections is my opponent made a Priestess of Fury. It's like a 7/6 that at end of turn deals 6 to your opponent, and I Ancient Reflections did. And then they took like 40.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
So they just can never play Knife Juggler or Priestess of Fury against you.
Yeah.
Man, are we sure Ancient Reflections isn't just A?
It might be A. I don't know. It's pretty cool, but those are weird cards. You don't see a lot of those in a lot of games. Most games it does something more reasonable, like you copy Roz and it wins the game. Kind of. Oh, that's A. If you copy Roz, it's also A because it's doing like what Book of the Dead does.
Yeah, that card's nuts, man. Anyway, next we have C, which are cards that need something specific to make that work. Whether that be you need to have a specific passive, or you need another specific other treasure that synergizes with it, like the Gnomish Army Knife and the Burning Sun that I was talking about earlier. Or if you have the double legendary synergy, you can pick up the Golden Kobold, which then is a legendary itself when you play it. So you get 2 6/6 taunts for 3 mana, turning your entire hand into legendaries. And for the rest of the game, you just get to slam down legendaries on curve, which then create another copy of themselves. So these cards should not be ignored. You should definitely look for them and see if maybe you have the passive that makes them work.
All right, and then we've got Tier D, the cards which should be ignored. Try not to look at these. If you have to pick one, I'm sorry. You deserve better than this. Let's see.
There's the blade synergy, I guess, if you happen to pick up the hilt earlier.
Sure. I mean, in theory, Butch has synergy with friendly beasts. I don't think I would even... I don't know what a beast deck... I wouldn't play a beast deck, but if I did, I might not play Butch in it. But let's talk about something more positive, like this nice Blade of Keldular, which has a really cool synergy with the Hilt of Keldular. If you get those two together, it's S tier. You win the game.
Right. And a word of warning with Murloc Homes. You may think this Murloc's not that bad. One of the issues with it is the buckets are going to start giving you Murloc cards. So be careful about that, because if you're a class that does not want Murloc buckets eating up the opportunity cost, where it could be like another bucket that does something productive for you, try and avoid taking the Murloc Homes.
What if I really want Murloc buckets, Firebat? I love Murlocs.
Then that's the best card for you. Build your Murloc deck.
All right, then Murloc Homes is moving to Tier D.
Have you seen a Murloc deck ever get 12 wins?
No.
Yeah, neither
I have also never seen a full Murloc deck. I had a Murloc deck once with 4 Murlocs.
Yeah, maybe we should try and get a Murloc 12 wins deck. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I tried. Got to 7. The wins really fell off once I picked up the Murlocs for some reason.